Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Firehawk, the Masked Shinobi, and we're going to start our part 2 of Madara had killed the Senju clan. So, obviously, if you want to know kind of where we're at, obviously go back and watch part 1 if you have not watched it. So we're going to continue on from there. Obviously, we last left off Madara. We know Madara had a son, and in this universe, and I think some things will stay the same, but some things will be different. Madara had a son, and then Madara's son would give birth to. I think Madara's son has a couple kids, and so you would still get Tsunade being the great aunt of Naruto, so still being a distant relative. Being like a great aunt. But Madara obviously has a son who then gives birth to Tsunade, and then obviously that's going to be, he's going to love his grandchild. He's going to love Tsunade, and I think, he's going to be there to really train her and make her a better warrior. His son would be a strong warrior, and then he'd also be a strong warrior. So, I think he's there for him. That's some things that I think change in this universe, is that Tsunade is going to have a bigger influence from her her grandfather this time is Madara, and her influence is going to be more of a stronger warrior. And so I think that's going to show in this universe. You're going to see that. And I think one of the ways that shows is that her team, when she gets trained, this is a legendary team. All of them are at legendary status. Every single one of them. And I think this team, instead of being trained by the third Hokage, I don't think the third Hokage is really anything potentially strong or great in this universe. I think he's almost just a shinobi that nobody really knows. I mean, there's shinobis that nobody really knows, and I don't think he has a great role in this universe. So I think this team in this universe is trained by Madara himself. Madara trains, because I think at this time when they are starting their training, I think that's the time that Madara takes a step away from being the leader and kind of pulling the strings from the side, and also taking that time to touch the third generation, a generation that he wants to make sure that he can touch as many generations as he possibly can. And so he trained his son, he trusts that, and now he wants to also train his granddaughter and to be strong. Not that he doesn't trust his own son, but he gives his son the role of leadership, and so his son has the role of leadership when he's behind pulling the strings. And Tsunade he's training Tsunade's team, and obviously he has a hand now in Jiraiya. Jiraiya was already a strong warrior, but now he's going to be a stronger warrior. Omochimaru is also going to be a stronger warrior as well. They're all going to be stronger because of their training. No dissing the third. I do not like the third Hokage. It's been very well documented. I really do not like him. So I'd rather them be trained by Madara, honestly. Not that some people would see Madara as any better, but in this universe, I wouldn't say he's really bad. I wouldn't say he's bad in the sense that everybody else would think he's bad. I think that he would really want to have peace in his own way and train a strong warriors just in case peace doesn't come, because all he's known is war. War may come, and he wants them to be prepared for it. And they probably are going to have wars. So we talked about this. Tsunade may have black hair. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean her genes, even though she is a Uchiha, doesn't mean necessarily that she would have black hair. She still could have blonde hair from the Uzumaki clan, because it's just genetics. Who has the stronger genetics at the time? My brother has dark black hair. I have dark brown hair, and my sister is a redhead. She takes after my mom's Scottish side. So It just depends on what genetics and different times like that. So she may not have black hair. She may be blonde. So in future references, we may just show her blonde because, but I think she would have this the Sharingan. So for sure, she'd have healing and warrior power. So she would be a strong warrior. I think she would be emphasis on that as well. And I don't think she would feel the need to really have children. She would just feel a need to be strong and have her own legacy, just like her grandfather did before her dad and her grandfather both would have a great legacy. I think some things that do stay the same as Omochimaru. I think he still has his emphasis on experiments. I think he still goes and becomes the leader of the Village of the Sound and has the Sound 4. I think all those things still exist because he's going to still be on wanting immortality and stuff like that. I think he'll still do his experiments and still do things and try to find ways. I don't know if he'd be obsessed with Sasuke necessarily because Sasuke would be more of the Uchiha and Uchihas would be more protected in this universe. So I'm not sure how that will play out, like that part of the storyline. Him looking for a new, basically a new source. He may still want to get a Uchiha so he can get the Sharingan and have more power. But I think he's still going to look for immortality. He's still going to be his weird experimental self. I think that still happens. I don't think that changes. In the multi-universe world, when you change the story, some things do stay the same. And I think that he's still going to want immortality because he's a weirdo. So that's still going to happen, I think. I think another thing that kind of stays the same is that Jiraiya will be, Minato's teacher. When he's training his teacher, and I think that later on he will still teach Naruto Sage Mode. I think those things stay the same. The only difference is now they're trained by a different type of Jiraiya. Jiraiya was already strong before, but he's going to be a lot stronger now because his teacher was Madara himself, and Madara was a great warrior, and I think that is going to show how strong he is. So I think whoever he trains after this is going to be stronger. So he will still have an influence on Minato and Naruto. I think that is going to definitely be he's still going to have an influence on them. So you're still going to see those influences from Jiraiya himself. So that's definitely going to be interesting. So Minato will still have the same teacher. He will still see Jiraiya as his sensei, and I think Jiraiya will still be his pervy self still probably, and they'll probably still call him Naruto will still probably call him Pervy Sage probably most likely, but we'll see when that time comes. I think Minato is still going to be the leader of Team 7. And he's still going to have Kashi and Obito and Rain. I think that team stays the same. And he trains the three of them. I think Kashi's story kind of stays the same too, where I think his dad's story is still the same. That he dies and that changes and shapes him, because that shapes how much of a person. Without that story, you change everything about Kashi. Kashi is so strong and it pushes forward to be the best because of that storyline. I don't think that storyline can change. I think that storyline stays the same for the sake of his character development, basically. I think that storyline has to stay the same, but I think some things change in the universe, but some things stay the same. This multi-universe, how it goes. But I think Minato still trains them. I think the only difference in this universe is that Obito does still give Kashi his eye, but I think Obito dies in this one. He actually does die, and then obviously Rain will die later on at the hand of Kashi. I think those things still happen. The only difference is Obito actually does die. There's no Madara that comes save him because Madara wasn't there. So that's the only thing that changes in the storyline. Madara wasn't in that place. Madara was in a village, safety. So I think that's how that storyline changes. That Obito and Rain actually die, and the only person that survives out of this team is Kashi. And Minato, I think, will later die, and we'll talk about that in a little while. We'll cover that. But I think then I think Itachi will still become the youngest person to join the Black Ops. I think he'll still join the Anbu Black Ops. I think that will still happen. I think he will still train Anbu Black Ops, and I think Kashi will still be part of the Black Ops after he trains. I think later on Kashi will become a member of the Black Ops. Obviously, the Black Ops, when they come up on it, would still probably be under the control of Madara's brother, and so they would put an emphasis on really making it strong. This would be a really strong special forces, not how you see it in the Naruto universe, how they're always getting beat up. They don't seem like special forces. The only people that seemed like special forces when they were on Anbu was Itachi and Kashi. Those are the only two Anbus that ever seemed like they were strong. Everybody else didn't seem strong. So I think that Itachi still joins the Anbu Black Ops, and I think that so does Kashi. Kashi still joins the Anbu, and which we see that. And I think that eventually the thing that changes for Kashi is that Kashi doesn't go and become a teacher. I think Kashi stays with Anbu, and he becomes after Madara's brother passes away, the mantle is given over to Kashi, and Kashi becomes the leader of the Anbu Special Black Ops. And I think that's how that storyline is going to progress, that he stays in Special Ops, and he becomes leader of the Anbu Black Ops, and is obviously a deadly warrior. People are still going to be scared of Kashi because you don't know which one Anbu he is, so because they all wear the mask and everything. So you definitely be scared of him. He's definitely going to be out in the field still and taking risks, because that's Kashi. Kashi's not going to be afraid to fight. That's definitely going to be something. So that's definitely going to be something that changes in Kashi's storyline, that he doesn't actually become, a teacher. And so we'll kind of cover who teaches Team 7 at the end of this episode. But first we have to cover Minato and and his death. And obviously he doesn't become he's a great shinobi, but I don't think he becomes obviously a Hokage. At the time of his death, he would probably be the second Hokage, second or third Hokage. I think that that his wife dies is killed by Madara himself. Madara kills her to make sure that the Nine Tails can't be sealed back in her. Basically, after wanting to make sure that he gets the control of the Nine Tails. But I think Minato foils that plan and seals the Nine Tails into Naruto's body. That's how Naruto gets the Nine Tails. And unknowns to him, I don't think Minato at the time knows how his wife died or why his wife dies. He just knows that his wife died. And I think Madara kind of sells him a story, and he believes it at first. But then later on he finds out the truth. And I think that is the reason why he decides he's going to... Madara's okay with Naruto having the Nine Tails, because as long as he knows where the Nine Tails is, and can watch Naruto, he's fine with it. As long as he knows and has track and sees how that storyline progresses. Because to him, as long as he technically still has control of the Nine Tails, because he has control of Naruto. And I think Minato later finds out how his wife died and tries to escape with Naruto, and Kashi and Itachi kill him. And he's killed by their hand, which would be hard for Kashi, I think, because that was his teacher. But I think he would still do it because it's part of orders, and he would feel uh, duty over anything because of how his dad, he would definitely put the emphasis on that. And Itachi, I don't think he would really care in a way, but I think that's kind of how that story line progresses. That's how he disappears, how they both disappear and die. I think Naruto has his dad for a while he's a toddler, so he has a little bit of influence of his dad in the beginning of his life, but he loses his storyline, and the way it progresses is he still has that loss. Naruto still experiences the loss of both parents. He never got to know his mom, and that's obviously when he finds out. I think that's going to drive his disdain a little bit for the Uchiha, and we'll get over that in a while. That'll probably be in the next episode. We'll probably cover more of that. But how we're gonna where we want to end this one is what happens to Team 7. Does Team 7 still become Team 7? Yes, I do think Team 7 still exists in its form, but they have a different teacher. They do not have Kashi. We already talked about Kashi becoming the leader of the Anbu Black Ops. I do not think that he becomes a teacher. And he doesn't get pushed to change his Anbu ways because Minato isn't there to kind of give him, is not in a leadership position to kind of push him into something else. He's not the Hokage and stuff, so that changes that storyline. That's how the storyline changes. So I think that Kashi stays and he becomes the leader of the Anbu, and I think that fits him. I think then he becomes, and he still elevates Anbu to still being a strong source, because that's what you want. That's definitely what you want, is a strong source. So I think this team still exists, but their teacher is Itachi. Itachi becomes their teacher, which is going to be important to him because he wants to be the teacher of Sasuke. He loves his brother. That's not going to change. His love for his brother is still not going to change. It's still not going to be any different in this thing. In this storyline, he's still going to love his brother very much, and he wants to have that hands-on knowledge. And they put Naruto there because they want Naruto to be watched, and they trust Itachi to watch him. And so that's why Naruto ends up on that team. And so that's kind of how that team still exists. So what are your thoughts about this universe where Madara kills the Senju clan and the Senju clan no longer exists? It's a different world. I'm definitely excited about some of these changes. I do like some of these. I do like studying this and thinking about what the world will be changed. I think it definitely is awesome. I do like the idea of Kashi being being in charge of Anbu. And I do like Itachi still being around and being a teacher and seeing more of Itachi for sure. I do like this thing, and I think everybody will really like Naruto's story farther on down the line. So, but anyways, if you like this, please like and subscribe, and join me again right here for the next one.